explain. The baby appears in the mirror but isn't present in the nursery. Also in the mirror, letters written in what seems to be blood spell a message. After flipping the picture horizontally, the message says, "What is happening to Hunter?" So that's definitely creative, and that definitely adds another element to the film. And I was never a big film of this, but that definitely adds to that. And by the way, these are trivia facts that I am reading from the Internet Movie Database. Another fun fact here, the film was announced shortly after Paranormal Activity in 2007, and it was announced that that would be released into theaters. Shot in the same house as the first film, the house was originally owned by director Oren Paley. And excuse me if I'm mispronouncing that name there. However, after the success of the first film, he got major renovation work done on his home. Shipped to theaters under the code name Sharpie 79. That's odd. So those are some interesting but odd facts about Paranormal Activity 2, which is, again, in theaters now, so definitely check that out. Melina talked a little bit about that. I have not seen it yet, but she said it's not that great, it's not that scary, it's not as good as she expected, but it's better than the first, definitely relates back to the first, and it still is worth going out to see. Personally, I'd probably wait till it comes out to the Dollar Theater here in Columbus, Ohio. I don't know if any of you guys have a local Dollar Theater or not, but if so, that would definitely be something to do. Saw 3D. We're not going to talk too much more about Saw 3D. Again, I saw it, and it's not that great. Like I've been saying week after week, there's someone's involvement in the end is revealed, but not explained, at least enough to my satisfaction. But we'll talk about that at a different time. But just kind of going ahead and continuing talking a little bit about Saw, we're going to read the fun facts to Saw next week on the show. And that's going to come by in a little bit. But as far as Saw goes, we've also talked in the past about there being another addition to Saw. I think there needs to be to explain more backstory behind a certain individual's involvement, but that's to be determined. But one thing I just want to mention about the Saw film today on this show is just the thing of it is I want to talk a little bit about the 3D effects and the extravagant traps. First of all, as we've said in the past, the 3D effects are not utilized to their utmost potential by no means. As far as what I've heard, I watch it online, so I can't tell you firsthand. This is just going off what I've heard. But what I want to talk about as far as the traps go is they were definitely much more extravagant than they were in the past films. They have the one trap and again, I won't give any spoilers out, but they had the one trap out in the shop window with all the people watching. So, such a public trap like that definitely was something we hadn't seen before in any of the past installments of Saw. So that's definitely something that I found interesting and intriguing about this film. Scream 4, let's talk a little bit about Scream 4. Again, like we mentioned earlier, exactly 4 months from today, Scream 4 is going to open up in theaters, and I'm very, very, very excited for that. April the 15th, 2011. And we read all kinds of fun facts last week on our show about Scream 4. And, the tagline to this is actually New Decade, New Rules. And if you listen to the trailer, just like in the original Scream when they were having the party, when some of the murders were going on in the end, you heard some of the characters talking a little bit about, the rules to horror movies and how you have to, virgins never die, but if you sleep with someone, you're going to die, and, never say I'll be right back because you won't be back, if you remember that scene from the original Scream. Well, this is a new decade, and in the trailer they talk about how now virgins can die. The killings have to be a lot more extreme, and it's really kind of pulling the wool over the horror industry. Not that it wasn't exposed before, because by this point in time, we pretty much know those sort of things. But it's pretty much giving, kind of pulling the wool back, pulling the curtain back, and kind of talking a little bit about how this is going to be different than some of the past Screams by telling you, yeah, the industry has changed and we're going to adapt in our own unique way. So I think that's very interesting and adds a nice little bit of emphasis on the importance of Scream 4 and the anticipation factor. So that's definitely something to look forward to. And if you want to go to the Internet Movie Database, you can actually see some photos from the filming of Scream. And I'm looking at some of those now. So, again, that's the Internet Movie Database, imdb.com. And some of that stuff's definitely really interesting to look at. But what we're going to do now is we are going to get to our review of Nightmare Before Christmas. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to play the trailer really quick, and then we'll go ahead and get to the review of the movie.
Welcome to an extraordinary world filled with magic and wonder. Open your mind and let yourself go to a place where every day is Halloween and every night Jack Skellington,
I am the Pumpkin King!
dreams of something different.
What is this? It's someplace new.
Jack, look out!
What's this? What's this? There's color everywhere. What's this? There's white things in the air. What's this? I can't believe my eyes. I must be dreaming. Wake up, Jack, the there. What is this?
Haven't you heard of peace on earth and goodwill towards men?
Touchstone Pictures presents the enchanting story of two very special dreamers and the holiday spirit that brought them together. From the imagination of Tim Burton comes The Nightmare Before Christmas.
And what did Santa bring you, honey?
Well, there you go. Nightmare Before Christmas. There. But what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to promote one of our shows in the chat room, Fearcast Network. Definitely check some of their stuff out. Again, that is Fearcast Network. But Nightmare Before Christmas, let's do a quick review of that. I know it's not necessarily that horrifying or anything like that, but, it fits in with Creepy Christmas, so we'll go ahead and talk about that. Again, directed by Tim Burton, and he's known for taking these fairy tale type situations as far as cartoon and such with Walt Disney into these more twisted, dark kind of animated films, if you will. So basically, here's the plot. For some of you who have not seen it, I don't know who couldn't have seen it, who hasn't seen this, because most people have seen this. Again, this was released back in '93. Most people have seen this, but for those of you who haven't, here's the plot, and I'll kind of go over what happens in here and give my thoughts as we go. So Halloween Town here is a dream world filled with citizens such as deformed monsters, ghosts, ghouls, goblins, vampires, werewolves, and witches. Jack Skellington, who is the Pumpkin King here in this Halloween type land, this Halloween world, he is the leader, and he leads them in a frightful celebration every Halloween, but he has grown tired of the same routine each year. And one thing I can say about this film is there's a lot of, it's almost like a musical in a way. There's a lot of song, and it's very good. It's very well done. And wandering in the forest outside the town center, he accidentally opens a portal to Christmas Town. Impressed by the feeling and style of Christmas, Jack presents his findings and his somewhat limited understanding of the holiday to the Halloween Town residents. They fail to grasp his meaning and compare everything he says to their idea of Halloween. He reluctantly decides to play along and announces that they will take over Christmas. And I really enjoy how this film kind of takes two holidays, Halloween and Christmas, and